It's time to move to a new chapter in the journey today. What we talk about when we talk about mental health. How are we framing the challenges? What kind of attitudes and language are we using? Who speaks and in what voice? We'll start with someone who has led an extraordinary life. She's the daughter of a Greek Jewish mother who survived the Holocaust. She gained early success as a fashion designer and has been an icon ever since, while also being a powerful woman, a powerful advocate for women. She has a brand new book out, Own It, The Secret to Life. Please welcome the one and only Diane Von Furstenberg.
I just wanted to start very simply. Everyone has a story. And the story I feel that the world needs to hear from you is what moment in your life, what was the moment in your life, the change that allowed you to foresee joy in every circumstance?
So before anything else, I want to, as you know, my little book called Own It, Secret to Life is 265 words. And some have a definition, some have an anecdote. But because you mentioned alone, and alone is in the title of what we're doing here, I would like to read you the definition that I wrote for alone. Being alone is not being lonely. It's being whole. It is where we find our strength and our full potential. Where being alone is the best way to reboot. So I think it's very important to say that, because being alone is a privilege. And we sleep alone, we die alone, we are in pain alone. I mean, so many major moment of our life, we are alone. And I think that one of the secret to know how to manage the turmoils that may happen to life is to first and foremost be in charge. And being in charge is not an aggressive statement. Being in charge is a commitment to ourselves. It's owning who we are. We own our imperfection, they become our assets. We own our vulnerability, we transform it into strength. And I think that is the most important and the most valuable thing I can share with anyone. And if I can be thankful of anything, is that I learned this very, very early, because the most important relationship in life is the one we have with ourselves. Once we have that, any other relationship is a plus and not a must. And no matter what, we do not want to be needy. Because another definition that I will put in there, and then I can ask you all the question, is we cannot decide who our parents are. We are born there, we have to accept it. And we have to deal with it the best we can. Some things are good, some things are not so good. Something you may find out are much better than you thought, whatever it is. But that's the first assessment of owning it. But we don't have real power on our destiny. Our destiny is our destiny. But what we have complete 100% power on is our character. We could lose our health, we can lose our wealth, we can lose our family, we can lose our freedom, we can lose everything, but we never lose our character, even under torture, because our character is this little house, the shelter inside ourselves that is the backbone, and it is our strength. And that is so important to remember. Then once we know that, we can deal with anything. So you asked me what was the most transformative moment of my life. I mean, the most transformative moment of my life is where I was born from. My mother, 18 months before I was born, my mother was in prison, in concentration camp in Nazi Germany. She weighed 49 pounds. She was only bones. It's a complete miracle that she made it, but she made it. She came back, she gained weight, she got married, and the doctors say you absolutely cannot have a child for at least 3 years because you won't survive and your child will be not normal. And sure enough, I was born 9 months later, and I mean, you may think I was not normal, but it was in a good way. So, so this is what was given to me. These are the cards that were, and I didn't think about it as a child. It's not like my mother told me about it. I knew she had tattooed numbers on her arm, but she took it away. But it's much later that those things, I realized those things, and I realized like that. And then I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to be independent. I knew I wanted to be in charge. I knew I wanted to be in charge of my life, being independent. And I didn't know what door I would take. And my door happened to be working for a factory in Italy and so on. And I took the opportunity, whatever, and I created something for myself. I created a little dress, and that little dress turned out to be my door, my door to freedom, to success, to independence. And as I was getting more and more confident, I was passing my confidence through a dress. So I developed very early on a relationship with other women by sharing my vulnerability, by sharing my, because I probably would not have shared my vulnerability had I not become successful so quickly. But once I was successful, I realized that if I share my vulnerability, that's a lot more inspiring and a lot more useful. And then my life was then, and then there was another turning point in which I will bring about because Deepak was involved in this. 27 years ago, I think, 26, 27 years ago, I was diagnosed with a cancer of the base of my tongue. And I was taken by surprise. I didn't expect this at all. And that's when I met Deepak, a friend of mine, introduced me to him, and he happened to be talking in New Haven at Yale, and he took the car and he came here, and he came here for the night and taught me how to meditate and taught me a lot of the things that I actually knew, but it was nice to have the confirmation because he's such an intelligent man and with a wide intelligence and a wide wisdom. And that also I had to own, right? I mean, some of it was the doctor, and some of it and then I went to different people to help me out, and Deepak was one of them. And so the most important advice I can give anyone is all the strength is inside us, and we should not be afraid of being alone, because being alone is not being lonely.
I have another question, because a lot of mental health has so many definitions, so many areas. Everyone today is now concerned with mental health. In your book, the definition of age is the following: age needs to be celebrated at every moment. And I find that so powerful because today, especially with social media, everyone is projecting an image that might not be as authentic or might not be themselves. And the result is that it strains.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Exactly. My definition of age is the map of our life, right? That means that every wrinkle, everything is a moment of our life. It's made of memory, stored images, emotions, and experiences. Aging needs to be celebrated every moment, every day, every year. Age is a proof of having lived. living, and living our age is owning it. I did the other day, somebody showed me those how do you call it, those things that you could do to alter your face, and filters.
Okay.
And I did the filter, and I would hate to look like that, because I mean, you know, of course, I mean, I'm 74 years old. I would love to be 25 years less, but mostly so that I have another 25 years more to live. But not, you have to, we have to embrace every moment. You have your children, your grandchildren, they're a reflection of what you leave behind, or your work, or your body of work, or whatever it is. I don't understand. I really don't understand this whole thing of a 35-year-old person being afraid to tell her age. I mean, this is insane. If anything, I always had a tendency, and still have a tendency, to wanting to age myself. And if I wasn't superstitious, I probably would age myself. But I'm superstitious because if I say I'm older, I may not get there. But other than that, I don't get it. I don't get it. And that's why I wrote this book about owning it. Owning it, owning who we are, owning every situation, no matter how bad it is the best way to live. Otherwise, you're just lying to yourself. And the most important thing we need to do is practice truth.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Diane. What a champion for owning our unique lives. It's like a mantra, own it, own it. Note that we have the full 30-minute interview with her posted on demand on the Never Alone website. And so that's additional exclusive content. And I really recommend taking the time to hear the full interview. It was such a joy to hear that wisdom, these pearls of wisdom that she had to share with us.